Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jake and today I'm going to show you how to make a proper budget. Now why do I call it a proper budget? That's because I think a lot of people in this country don't know how to make one that actually works for them. A typical budget might look something like, let me look at my bank balance and if I have enough money for what I want to buy, I can buy it. If I don't have enough money, then I can't buy it. That's not a good budget. That's not one that works for you and that's one that can get you in a lot of trouble, right? We don't want to run into the problem of not having enough money at the end of our month. So, I'm going to show you how to show you everything you need to know about making a proper budget. I made this little chart for you right here. Here's our income side, and this arrow is going to be representative about how much money you bring home in a given month. And then we have the expenses side, showing, what are we going to be spending that money on. So it's 3 steps, very simple, very easy. First step is mandatory expenses. So these are things that we have to buy in order to get by. Stuff is not negotiable. Things like, our rent or a mortgage. Maybe we have a car note, car insurance, and things like food, right? And you gotta have food. That's an important one. So we get this out of the way first, so we don't run the mistake of not having enough at the end of the month. We always want to prioritize this, so we make it step number 1. Step number 2 is going to be a section that I think a lot of people kind of skip or don't utilize at all, or even properly. It's going to be savings. A lot of people are saving for retirement. A recent think tank found that 76% of people in this country aren't comfortable with their retirement savings. They have concerns. So maybe we want to prioritize that. And also maybe you're saving for something personal, like for yourself. Something like a vacation or a big expense that's going to come along in the future that you need to get money out of the way for. So we put all that stuff up here right after our mandatory expenses, because again, that's a priority. We don't want to make the mistake of not having enough in these sections. And lastly, and this is the one that most people look forward to, because they get to spend money they want, but it's also the most dangerous, because if you run out of control, then that's where you get the problems of not having enough money. And this is our discretionary expenses. So this is stuff like your fun stuff, your entertainment, you're going out with friends, maybe there's some extra clothing you want to buy. Maybe you're a big fan of hazelnut lattes at Starbucks. A lot of people say that's a mandatory expense. There's less expensive ways to get your coffee fixed, guys. Hazelnut lattes, that should be discretionary. It's extra and optional. See, the benefit of doing this section last, after we do our mandatory and our savings expenses, is that we make sure that we match at the end of the month, that our income equals our expenses, so we don't run into any problems. And so the benefit of doing this is that doing it this way, 1, 2, and 3, we don't skip the savings sections, where a lot of people miss out on this part. The Federal Reserve report last year found that almost a third of adults in this country, a $400 expense would sink them. They don't have $400 in savings at all. By getting savings out of the way, we can get that $400. $40 a month, if you're able to, spend a little bit less on your discretionary and prioritize that. Within a year, that $40 a month is almost $500. So it reduces your stress, it helps protect you financially, and it prioritizes your future so that you don't end up in the future one day and you haven't prepared for those things at all. So step 1, mandatory expenses, and step 2, our savings, and then last, with whatever we have left over, we get to spend that on our discretionary stuff, things we want. So now 1, 2, and 3, the steps to make a proper household budget.